guys, welcome back to my channel, Thoughts with Ellie, here where we just talk about my thoughts, really. I just have some thoughts that sometimes pop into my head and they become conversations with friends and family, and then I just think about sharing them with you guys here, see what y'all think. Maybe these thoughts will encourage or help someone. So, let's get into it. For today, I have a thought. Actually, I have a struggle. Something that I've been thinking about, wrestling with, struggling with, and it has to do with worth and finding your worth in what you do, meaning like your work or your career or your schooling, right? Like here, like one of the first questions that people ask you is what do you do for work? Or if you're a student, oh, what are you studying? Or here specifically where I live, people will ask you what high school you went to, just to kind of get an idea of where you lived in the area, kind of your socioeconomic status, or maybe where you are politically, just based on where you went to high school, right? So everybody, different parts of the country, all have their own thing that they ask to kind of get a feel for someone, what they do, like if they're a doctor, if they're rich, or if they're smart, or maybe if they're an accountant, they're good with numbers. We all do it, right? Which I was just thinking about how much we place in our culture our worth in what we do, right? Like we I guess idolize maybe, or we give a higher, I don't know, we think higher of people who are the doctors or who are the lawyers or the surgeons or nurses, or people that tend to make maybe a little bit more money, people that have like a higher career um, status, that kind of thing. And we kind of tend to think a little bit more lowly of, say, a stay-at-home mom, or even a stay-at-home wife, or a housekeeper, or just a clerk, those kinds of things. And so what I'm struggling with right now is personally my worth, because at the season I am in life right now is I am a stay-at-home wife. Like, I don't have kids. I stay at home. I have 2 dogs, so I could technically be called a stay-at-home dog mom, right? But, when people ask me, what do I do? What do I do? I tell them I'm a stay-at-home wife, or I'm a homemaker, and I get this kind of like they don't know what to say, right? And it just got me thinking of how insecure I started feeling because of other people's reactions, because I can't give them some big awe-inspiring career or job that I'm a part of that will just tickle their fancy. And so just some thoughts I have on this topic is that, you know, why are we putting so much value in our careers, right? Our careers eventually end. We get to retirement, and then what? You can't take your career to the grave with you. You can't take your career to eternity with you. There is important having a career for some people, and if they're specifically called to, being a doctor or a missionary, that is great. I'm not saying a career is a bad thing, but I'm saying that it can become a bad thing when all we do is put our worth in what we do, right? And so this is encouragement, especially for people who maybe don't have a big fancy career, or they're just at home, or maybe they're sick and they feel like, a piece of doo-doo because they're not doing anything. Well, our worth doesn't come from a career. And if you're a Christian, you probably know this, but this is always a good reminder to know that our worth, or your worth, comes through God, right? I found a verse. It's in Ephesians 2:10. Let me read it here for y'all. So Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God prepared beforehand that we should walk in them." So it says we are his workmanship. Some translation says we are his handiwork, which literally means we are his, God. We are his artwork, right? So think of something that you have created, like if you paint, you've created a painting, or Maybe you do crafts and you created some cool little candle or whatever it is. Something that you've made and you've created. And just think of how much you like that thing, right? How much you think it's special, it has worth. And why does it have worth to you, right? It's not just because it does, it's because you created it. It's because you enjoy it, because you delight in that thing that you've created, right? For me, I really love it when I create a good meal and I delight in that meal because I'm sharing that meal with other people who also are delighting in that meal, right? So God created us in his own image, meaning we are like him, we have worth. And really, to simplify it, that's all the worth we ever need. We don't need a career telling us how much we're worth or a salary telling us how much we're worth, right? We can we can be the best we are with our families, with our friends, with our relationships. It does say that here in the verse that, we are created for good works, doing good. So good is more than what you earn. Good is how you're treating people behind closed doors, or even your thoughts. Are your thoughts good, right? Are you having hateful, negative thoughts, or are you having positive, encouraging thoughts about other people? And so I just wanted to get really people to think about, what they attach their worth to. And just if you really think about it, it doesn't matter. In the scheme of eternity, and when we're all dead and we're not here, you can't take your career or your belongings or whatever it is that maybe you're finding worth in. You can't take it with you. The only thing you take with you is your soul, and you can work on your soul here on earth. And so just maybe try to find a little bit more of your worth in God and who he's created you to be. And even I think there's something to say you can find some of your worth in your works, and like your good works, meaning how you're treating people or your attitude, or you know like being charitable, things like that are a little bit more noble. But just want to encourage you today that you are more than what you do, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.